What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about a really important concept that can improve your performance on the jiu-jitsu mats, but also decrease risk of injury. And that concept is called load management. Let's get into it. All right, so you may have heard or seen about load management. What is it? Kind of how does it work? How do you learn to monitor it? So there's a few different ways that you can do that. You can do it for free. Let me show you the basics on how to do that, but also let me explain to you initially what load management is and what load is. So the IOC, or the International Olympic Committee, the definition of load management is sport or non-sport burden you put on your body. So basically how hard you stress your body, and that could be external load and internal load, right? So the external load would be like how many hours you train, how frequently you train, during the week. So that could be just a way of like monitoring, all right, I'm training for an hour twice a week in jiu-jitsu. And then the other part of it is internal load, like how you perceive that load. Now, some different ways to do that could be a heart rate monitor. You can see how hard you're pushing your heart rate variability, heart rate recovery, all those things. But an easy one that you can do for free is called the RPE scale, and that's your rating of perceived exertion. And that's basically a scale of, don't ask me why it's 6 to 20, but it's a scale of 6, which is completely doing nothing, could be sleeping, resting, and 20, which is working at your maximal effort. So why is load management important? Well, think of it this way. If you load your body too much, you could break it down, you could lead to injury. If you don't load your body enough, you don't create enough stimulus in your body to build strength, build capacity to train harder or push yourself harder. So I think those two things are very important. And I know your next question probably is, well, how do I know what the proper amount of load or stress on my body is? Well, that's dependent on the individual, and it's dependent on numerous factors. Your current physical activity level, your current recovery, like how much recovery you get. So there's a lot that goes into it that you'll have to play with and kind of figure out what works for you. So for example, if you're coming back from injury, load management is very important, because one of the first things you want to do is we want to stress your body, but in a safe and controlled manner, in a safe way. That's why, like, if you're someone that's coming back from a certain injury, it's good to have a physical therapist or someone that knows how to get you back on the mats safely and gradually. That's really important, because if you load your body too much, again, like we said, it'll break it down. If you don't stress your body enough, don't load your body enough, well, then what happens is you don't get enough stimulus, you don't build that strength, don't build that improvement in performance, okay? So here are the two basic ways. I kind of alluded to them earlier in the video. The basic way to manage your external load could be you monitor how many days a week you train and how many minutes that you train during that week. So that may give you a number of, like, say you train twice a week, so 60 minutes twice a week, right? That would be 120 minutes. That's kind of your external load. And your internal load could be for each one of those days, you'll say, all right, for the first day, I trained at a 10 on my RPE scale, okay? And the second day, I trained at a 15, and that'll give you a number. And if that number feels good to you, if you feel good after those kind of numbers, you can say, all right, I can push it a little harder. And that could be I train for longer, or I train in a more intense way. So if you only train for 120 minutes a week, you may increase your intensity gradually, and that could be that you do 30 minutes of tough rounds instead of 25, that kind of thing. So I think the key to figuring out what the best load management or best load for you is dependent on you, and it's kind of what you feel. I think, like I mentioned before, if you're somebody that's coming back from an injury, it's really important to have somebody that knows what they're doing. A strength conditioning coach can monitor these things. There's a good correlation to load management, injury risk, and performance. So hope these help. Hope these ideas are beneficial. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment down below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.